One of the best. One of the most watched clips in preaching and sermon, especially in the African American diaspora. Man, it's Brotha Rollins. Y'all salute. Man, we gonna clap for Brotha Rollins. Y'all salute for Brotha Rollins.
Hey.
He feel better now. brother, we've already been podcasting. We've already been doing our thing. How are you feeling today? Tell the people how you feeling, man.
I'm feeling real good, man. Feeling really good.
Good. Now, we've been having conversations.
Thank you, Brother G.
Yes, sir. We've been having conversations about, we want to hear about churches' stories. And you were closing out one of our podcasts that we're going to have coming up on the social media channel, coming up real soon. You were closing that out. And then you start talking about the content that the churches are more interested in, or church members are more interested in. Man, would you go ahead and tell the people of God what our church members are more interested in as it relates to story, brands, and content? Please.
Well, again, thank you, Brother DK, for welcoming me onto your platform and to share with you, man, as we do our best to share the gospel of Jesus Christ, number one.
Yeah.
So that we get more family members into the family of God.
Amen.
I'm going to tell y'all something. Out of 17, going on 18 years of online evangelism ministry, this is what I'm noticing now in the body of Christ. There are two things that people are watching when it comes to just online content, as we say within the church world. Number two, how can I say it this way? I'm gonna put them all together, Brother DK.
All right.
It's something about church scandals and church gossip that bring folks to the computer, their mobile devices, or hearing the true stories of what really happened before, certain situations. Those are things that people are watching now. And we have everybody online reviewing it, talking about it. And also, what we're also seeing within church content, people taking their phone, where, pastors being disrespected, members being disrespectful. And we're just locked in and glued into that.
Yeah.
Those are things that people are watching now, and it's sad to say that, now with social media, I mean, those videos can go viral in seconds, and they have. They've gone to the news stations. We've seen pastors get put out of churches because there was a disagreement between pastors and members. But those are the things that people are watching now, versus years ago, and even still now. Other things that people are watching are praise breaks and the sermon closing.
Yeah, man.
Those, I say all three or four of those, literally.
Sermon closing, and let's be specific. I think it applies to a myriad of church experiences. Sermon closings, church scandals, storyline, story brands. And if something dramatic is happening in the church experience, we want to share those things. So what that tells me, brother, and correct me if I'm wrong, because your experience lives longer than mine. What that tells me is people are invested in the stories of other people, and they want to hear those stories. And what they really want to hear is authentic stories. And the authentic stories is what's going to keep capture and help them share that somewhere else. Now, imagine, brother, we took that authentic story and we wrapped it in the gospel, and then we shared that to the masses. Do you think we would still experience that same virality that we once experienced before?
I believe we could. It's just, you always heard that statement, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Because me as a media professional, editing can make and break you.
Absolutely.
Think about it. People don't know that. Hey, look, when you were interviewing behind the scenes, you got raw footage, and you or me or anybody, we can take one little piece, and it can be used to uplift, or it could be used to be criticized, or it could be used to destroy. It could be used to have the critical conversation. Um, you know, I hate to say it, but we have a preacher here in the United States that is very vocal about a lot of things.
Yes.
And that's all we hear. We've already gotten a definition of when we see him, he's going to address something about that's controversial and some things that are not lining up with the word of God.
Yeah.
But we never heard this preacher really. But I will say this: we've heard this minister preach biblical. I mean, there are biblical sermons that he has preached, but now the fanfare for him is we know he's going to talk about controversy. It's always going to be controversy, and that's all we see. And we see him preach a sermon from the Bible or preach a biblical sermon. It's kind of like that's not what we used to. Just think about some of our gospel singers that are pastors.
Yeah.
Case in point, I remember Marvin Sapp. I went to go hear him preach one afternoon. The first thing he did when he got up on the microphone, he said, "I already know," because he knew in our minds we were ready for him to sing some of his gospel songs.
Of course.
I wanted to hear him preach.
Right.
And so it's kind of like it's a fight. Okay, look, I was a gospel singer. Yeah, I know I can sing to the glory of God, and God has called me to minister and pastor. And it's kind of like, okay, I'm trying to make sure that they're trying to make sure, hey, look, don't focus just on the music ministry, but let's hear the word.
Yeah.
And Bishop Sapp made it known. He was like, look, I already know what's going to happen. He said, all right, I'm going to stand right here. Y'all pull your phones out. I'm going to do my little pose. And all right, now it's time to hear the word.
No doubt. Yeah. And all right, cool. We here. You bring up something very interesting. And that is with people like what you bring up is, hey, if a person is standing up to preach the gospel, let them preach the gospel. Mm-hmm. If they just so happen to be able to sing, to God be the glory, but we are here to hear the word of God. And Brother Rollins, me interviewing today, you have reignited my passion more than anything for those who are doing this ministry, and that we are presenting Christ first. Mm-hmm. And if a speaker comes up second and delivers well, then we can deliver that second, right? Mm-hmm. And so I appreciate that. And for those of y'all who are not familiar with Brother Rollins' work, I'm going to need y'all to go take a field trip right over to the U in the Tubes. Pull that up, and you're going to see some of the clips that he is executed upon before there was AI, before there was all these editing tools. He was already uploading these types of stuff to YouTube for our consumption. And I think that cannot be overlooked because you were doing it before we had it easy. You were doing it when it was hard and it was arduous and it was just a lot of work. And for that, brother, we salute you. I want to make sure that I use my platform to salute those like yourself who have kind of paved the way for people like me who can come up and say, all right, cool, I see what Brother Rollins is doing. Let me keep it focused on the gospel. So let me ask you this, Brother Rollins. When you are editing clips of preachers, what are you looking for?
What I'm looking for is, number one, and when I do speak with the preacher, whether it be on phone or meeting with them in person, I'm asking them questions. Okay, what was the inspiration behind this sermon? Number one, what is it? What is it that you're looking for? And I put it flat out on the table right before them. Now, are you looking for people to come to Christ? Looking for some engagements? Are you looking for acceptance? I mean, my focus is, like I shared with you earlier, an hour ago, I'm looking to encourage somebody that needs to be encouraged that's watching the wee hours of the night. I'm thinking about that brother, that sister. I mean, even within my audience, the elderly people, I'm talking about 65 plus, that we think that don't know how to operate and use social media or mobile device. Oh, they're watching.
Yeah.
And they will put their age in the comments, let you know, hey, look,
Yeah.
this takes me back to my roots growing up at the Mount Zion
Yeah.
Baptist Church or the Greater Hope Pentecostal Church from back in the day, and some that I've gotten comments from people that were in nursing homes. And unfortunately, one of the people that I remember that was in the comment section, it was his home church that he grew up in, and he was getting ready to make his transition out of this world. And for him to receive a comment like that, I said, that's what I do it for, because you just don't know where people are in the walks of their life. When they scroll and look for encouragement. A social media influencer told me this, and he even showed me the video where he expounded upon this. He said, you have to make a decision as a content creator. Are you here to entertain, or are you here to encourage?
Come on, man.
you have to make that choice. And there's an audience that serves entertainment,
Yes.
of all walks of life. There's an audience for education. There's an audience for inspiration, encouragement, but also there's an audience for food.
Shenanigans.
And even within the church world, as we talked about earlier, about what I believe what church people are looking at now, that gets tons on top of tons of views. And I've dealt with a situation where I'm like, okay, I'm dealing with low views. I'm like, okay, this is what people really want to look at and listen to. But I'm like, well, Lord, I want to sleep well at night, because I want to be a part of that gossiping crowd, or the sharing stuff about scandals and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not. And we all going to have to be held accountable for our life in Christ and our behavior. Unfortunately, it happens in churches, red, yellow, black, and white.
Yep.
And it's to me, it breaks my heart sometimes. I'm like, man, I don't want to watch all this stuff about and even what's trending. People ask me, hey, do you watch this clip? I said, no. Also, what I want to just expound upon, DK, is this. There was a time where, I shared a lot of those sermon closing, and some of the ministers and pastors that secured business with me, that's all they wanted to share. I'm like, okay, well, listen, think about this. This is your first time going online.
Come on.
See, we know you in person from what we have heard you preach, male or female. But I said, you don't want to be defined by, you could just close out a sermon. And that's what people are stuck online.
Come on, sir.
She closed out. That's all we know. And one minister who will remain anonymous, he said, hey, look, I don't like YouTube, because someone posted a sermon close of him, and people in the comment section saying things, and his boys were ready to go shut him down, as his friends. And I got to give a shout out to one of my a little brother to me that I've known since he started preaching in Decatur, Georgia. And y'all know who it is, Resident Sharp. He has told the story online, and he said, when I first started preaching, Brother Rollins asked if I could, share a sermon online. He said, no, man, I don't want to be out there. They mean out there. And I told him, I said, Reginald, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And I'm not gonna say nothing. Well, he told me I didn't take care of it. But but I'll tell you this though. Look where God brought him to.
Absolutely.
To the Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church of Chicago, Illinois, where the Reverend Dr. Clay Evans, one of my favorite preachers of all time, founded and pastored that church. The only preacher that loved and welcomed and accepted Martin Luther King Jr. to preach church, while other ministers there in Chicago said no, in town.
That's right.
He was the only one that supported him.
Talk about it.
And just to see how God just brought that young man to one of the greatest churches in the world. And I'm not saying through color, but to me, Fellowship is the number one church you're talking about as far as just ministry to the community. I'm going to get in trouble within this. The greatest church mass choir ever. And they still singing to this day. Let me tell you something. They don't even have choir.
Oh, we going up out there. We going up now.
People can sing with the power of God, and they ain't got no praise team mic people singing over them.
What?
I'm talking about those elders are still singing with the power of God. And I'm going into a whole different thing. But
hey, I'm not mad.
But there have been times within my the videos that I've created, and I've had to let the ministers know. I said, "Listen, are you okay with people sharing their feedback?" But I do on my channel now. If someone is saying something negative, or if I feel like it's in between, I will not approve that comment.
Right.
And just out of respect. But people have the right to share what they feel, and then we have to understand too. There are people of all walks of life. Everybody is not. Some people are positive about the church. Some people are not positive about the church, and and people will get out there. They will say negative things about preachers. I've dealt with people with jealousies, even toward for what God's called me to do to this medium as a whole, as itself. And it's just it's tough. But I've always, me and Pastor Charles, we still laugh back to this day. He said, "Yeah, I don't want to be out there though, but man, when I tell you," and there's a story within that too, DK.
Yeah.
To me, beyond Reginald's pastor, who was my pastor at the time, brief season, E. Dewey Smith, it got so overwhelming with Pastor Sharp at the time. I said, "I'm gonna need some help." A dear friend of mine, her name is Tori Durham. She was an executive assistant secretary at Travis Rest at the time, and me, myself, and Tori, we were Reginald's virtual staff. So I took care of the media stuff. She took care of all the correspondence through executive work, secretary work, with communicate with the churches, because the engagements were coming in like crazy. And I said, I need to that's not my lane at all. Yeah. And I remember Reginald's mother, very dear to my heart, Faye Sharp, she called me. She said, "Hey, Rollins, we need to get a website together and stuff for my son and stuff. And I don't know what to do." And I said, "Well, listen, can we meet, and get this good, look, a cheap $10, $15 Vistaprint website."
That's all we need right now. That's all we need.
I was able to get in there and set up some things and do a contact form, because you know how our church folk is. They'll inbox us about how much this costs and how can I get, and it got overwhelmed for me. I said, "Listen, I'm gonna send you the website. Go there, fill out the information, and then, just wait for a response back." That's all I can tell you. I can't guarantee you, "Hey, look, I'm gonna get this preacher to your church or get them over." And then, I say, you guys gonna have to discuss that amongst yourselves collectively on, the transportation side, the business side. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Yeah. But I do remember just, when YouTube was totally different in 2007. It was just so many messages and
Oh yeah,
of great expressions but I said I'm really happy for Pastor Sharp and what he's doing there at Fellowship.
absolutely.
Church, all three services are jam packed to capacity, and I'm just excited about what God is continuing to do through him and his lovely wife, Brianna. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I got to give a shout out to Fellowship. I don't believe I have not met a stranger there. They have welcomed me with so much love. I mean, from 2005 on till now, so I'm going on almost 20 years of people that have just been very embracing, and they are a lovely and friendly church. So, Fellowship,
Absolutely.
I love you guys. Go ahead,
Salute.
DK, with the next question.
Yeah, salute. Thank y'all so much for coming in. I am DK Hammons, a digital theologian, and I have, to me, one of the GOATs in the business of sermon clips, of storytelling in terms of Black African-American preaching. He is right here. And most of us, if not all of us in preaching, have probably visited his clips. I know some of y'all are trifling and you've been taking his clips and putting it on your page. That's not cool. Y'all know where the clips came from. It came from this man right next to me. This man right next to me.
Let me put the cross up there.
This man right next to me is probably where that clip came from. That's right.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to give honor where honor is due. Brotha Rollins has been doing, to me, digital discipleship ministry and evangelistic work before it was actually a title given to it. And he was making impact in my life as well as others' lives through these sermon clips. I don't know how many people have been impacted. I don't even know how many people have probably gone to Pastor Black's church or E. Dewey Smith's church or Reverend Sharp's church as a result of those clips. But now we have them, and now we have a blueprint to kind of follow when we want to encourage people. So, Brotha Rollins, let's get in some more trouble. We've been getting in trouble all day. What are some things that people in our brand of business, I've asked this before, I want you to be blatantly honest this time, they need to improve upon when it comes to their live stream as well as their video cut edits and reels?
When it comes to live streaming, I'm going to direct that to
Okay.
I'm going to direct to the African American church.
Sure.
I'm speaking to pastors. I'm speaking to that pastor that's having a struggle with the trustees of the church, and some of them they don't understand, and some of them have probably have commented to you of certain things and equipment that you know that you need to share the gospel globally. A lot of our trustees, who I feel that they just not, they need to be more educated as to why about our technology of today. And I believe our trouble and I say the glitch in the system happened when something that we could not see 4 years ago shut the whole world down.
Yeah.
And let me just be honest with you. When it comes to trustees, elders of the church, or just anybody in general that don't understand the seriousness of technology, I've dealt with my own parents where I've had to really sit down and show them how to, operate certain things so they won't be left behind. Some elders will tell you, they'll go straight to the bank and deposit a check when you can just take a picture and deposit at your house and then throw the check away into the garbage. So you can save some gas. My encouragement for all churches and more for African American churches, please take this serious in getting the right media equipment so that we could be able to minister to more people out there into the world. And I'll tell you something, if you get the right equipment and not gripe and grouch and frown about the cost of it, think about that. It could be one soul right there in your county or in your neighborhood that will come to church and give their life to Christ. Because that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
And also, when you get that right equipment, churches, you got to use it, not just for Sunday morning, and that's it. Just like I remember back on our old church bulletins, at the top, enter into worship. At the end, at the bottom, depart to serve. So it let us know, look, you're departing from this physical building that we call sanctuary, or the auditorium we call sanctuary, but it's going to be your job to minister to people, not just on Sunday morning, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, man.
As I say, take it to the streets of sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ and making sure that they have a relationship with him. If you believe in him, you're serving him and living for him. But definitely, and please take it seriously to invest in getting the right media equipment.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to go to church conferences. I'm more interested in going to media conferences more than going to the other conferences. Our annual denominational congregations. Conferences. Excuse me. Then because most of our denominational conventions, it's just a hangout most of the time.
And let's that's a good, bro. That's a good place to go. I'm gonna go viral here when I say this.
Okay, I got a statement after yours.
Okay, brother. So when I go to some of the conferences that I've been afforded to go to, for the people like Brotha Rollins and myself, there's absolutely zero for us to engage in. Mm-hmm. And when we come in, yes, we're going to get some good preaching. We're going to understand that. But can you help us with tools and tips and tricks of the trade that will help us become better clinicians, better students, and serve in an excellent manner in our churches? And so my challenge to those conferences, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, bring the smart people back to the room so that you can have these types of conversations and your people can go back well equipped to do the work of the ministry. Go ahead, Brotha Rollins.
I had a situation where I remember going to when I lived in Atlanta, and I went to a church growth conference in Alpharetta, Georgia, of a Caucasian following. The pastor was Andy Stanley, and multiple church locations. I didn't find out, and I found out later that he was the son of the world-renowned Dr. Charles Stanley. I was like, wow, I've heard of his father, but I never heard of him. But Andy Stanley has a large following of people, church members and unchurched people coming to his locations there in metropolitan Atlanta, and packed to capacity. Yes. Seriously. And he has a conference called the Drive Conference, a church growth conference for media, children's ministry, pastors, ministers. And this is around 2008, 2009. And it was 2009. And I was working with the church at that time. And honestly, truthfully, we were the only African-American people within this large conference of gathering of people. There were people from South Africa, Ireland that came to this conference, everywhere. And I'm looking around. I got a funny story to tell you, parallel to that. We were the only ones there. When I was a young man, my mom and my dad would take us to a lot of political rallies and stuff and campaigns, and we were the only African American people that were there. About 8 or 9 years old, I started counting all of us in the room, and I shouted out 6. My brother said, 6 what? I said, it's only 6 African American people here, including you, me, and Mom, and Deacon Bishop. And they looked around. We were trying to laugh it off and stuff, though, but that again. But anyway, my concern is this. We were excited at this conference. We were just pumped and ready to go. But then reality hit as we left the conference. How will our culture be accepting to what they do over here? Meaning, like I told you before earlier, myself, our media ministry team members, my mentors who were the media directors, myself, because at the time I was working on staff as what do they call me? They called me the website media specialist. So keeping up the website updated, but also I was the person sending out all those CD and DVD orders. And I tell you, the DVD orders were in the I'm talking about leaving the church with almost 100 packages.
That's crazy, man.
And making people in the post office line mad. So talking with the media people there at North Point Ministries at the Drive Conference, and top of the line CNN studio media equipment, cameras, switchers, soundboards. The top notch. And just asking them questions and talking to one of the volunteers. He was telling me about how he gets there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get things set up. Was not getting paid for it, but he just has such a diligent servant heart, no matter what. And talking with his media ministry leader, cut across the field, get too long with it. I asked him, I said, hey, how are y'all able to get this equipment? He said, well, the equipment that you see right now, we're not going to have this equipment in the next 3 to 5 years. We're going to get rid of it and just give it away. And we already have plans for upgrades every 5 to 10 years, every 5 years, really. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. And he did let me know. He said, listen, we plan for vision in every ministry portion of the church at North Point Ministries. He said, because he said, you also have to think about this too. And I told you this earlier, and this is my encouragement to our African American church. Listen, y'all, the equipment that we need will help us to take the gospel more further. Again, don't frown upon, oh, this costs too much, and why do you need this and why do you need that? Because the equipment that we have now, it may not be usable 5 or 10 years or 20 years down the line. There's a church here in my hometown, Lewis Chapel. They just went through a renovation process. How it used to look, now has a more modern day look in the 21st century. And I'm a proponent for churches for if they need to renovate, coming to the 21st century, but also getting the right equipment that you need. So I'm an advocate for churches, especially African American churches, getting the right equipment, so we won't be stuck.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, we will have a further, more length podcast coming up on the Social Media Church podcast. Please make sure you go check that out. Please also make sure you go check out Brotha Rollins and check out all of his clips and his work. And if, Brotha Rollins, these people of God are saying, you know what, Brotha Rollins, you're such an expert, you're such a professional, how can we get in contact with you? Can you share with our group how they can get in contact with you for further details and information?
Well, I am on Facebook. If you just type in Brotha Rollins Videos for Christ, that is on the organization page. You can add me as a friend request. Type in Brotha Rollins or Lewis Rollins II. Type in on Google, Brotha Rollins, Brotha Rollins, or go to my main website, which is videos, videos, 4, Christ.com. And that's where you'll be able to look at more information about what I do. But also for pastors and ministers of churches, if you need social media editing, or if you just need a video recreated and you post on your following, I do that as well too. I will let y'all know this. I don't just edit just for the church. So if you need anything edited, just let me know. But also, if you have audio cassettes and VHS tapes, okay, converted.
Talk about it.
That's another thing that I've
Talk about
stepped
it,
into
man.
the last year or two. Churches and pastors that have that stuff stored in boxes and stuff. I like to work with you and get that stuff converted.
Yes, sir.
Also, if you have 35 millimeter film slides, if you need some pictures reproduced, because if you have film negatives, don't throw them away. Send them to me, and I will send them back to you through email. And a lot of the digital work that I do through audio cassette conversion, VHS tape conversion, I can send those back as an electronic file so you can preserve those memories. A lot of our content, church-wise, is being sent to these universities where now they have ownership of it.
Talk about it, sir. Talk about it.
They got ownership of it.
Talk about the ownership, man. Talk about it. Talk about
I'm gonna be nice, but I'm just saying, we need to have our own, protect our own.
Yes.
I will say this: you have me right here. I got to show y'all something. I'm about to get in trouble. See, I got the equipment.
There it is.
Here. Okay. To reproduce things that's just sitting there because it's collecting dust, and we just need to preserve our our old school media, as I say. And another thing is, I'm a proponent also too for churches. I'm a history buff as well too, so taking pictures, keep stuff archived and stuff. I can help you all out with that as well too. And but DK, I'm so thankful for you to allow me to just come and share with you. I look forward to sharing with you more. And for your audience here, DK is going to be a special guest upon my YouTube channel real soon. So y'all look out on Brotha Rollins on YouTube.com. Subscribe to my channel. Like and comment, share some of my videos. And I told DK this earlier. There was a season where I'm editing for sermons for preachers, which I still will do. But now I'm going to be interviewing more pastors and ministers and church leaders around the world to just have conversations about a lot of things and on how we can, as I say, make the church better.
Amen. So as I close out with this, y'all, Brotha Rollins, we give you your flowers, man. We thank you for showing us a way to present the gospel. Brotha Rollins is kind of like the offshoot version of a new printing press when he gave us reels, because we didn't have reels. So now we have another interpretation in which we can, ingest the gospel. Brotha Rollins has worked with some of everybody, some of your best, well-renowned preachers in the game, especially on the southeastern sector of the world. He's worked with them, and he's a good man. And so, Brotha Rollins, I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
And if y'all need Brotha Rollins' service, please, somebody in the chat say, man, Brotha Rollins is the GOAT. Salute. Yeah. If y'all ever need Donovan Parks, Donovan Parks works for Mount Moriah. Used to use his stuff from way back in the day. So this is what it's about, having these conversations, because y'all don't know who's behind the scenes doing this massive work and getting the gospel out to you. So, Brotha Rollins, I want to let you know you are appreciated, brother. You are loved. We thank you for paving the way, for giving us another way for people to experience the gospel, man. Appreciate you, brother.
DK, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely, man.
I want to thank, God, for just using me as his child and his vessel.
Yeah.
But I thank God for all the people that have allowed me to just, for a season, and those that for the continued support. I'm going to call a roll just a little bit.
Go for it.
I think about the first people that from day one show support. When I went full time, I'm thinking of preachers like Corey Jones, Paris Smith, Charles Bond, people that have been that I feel like
Hold
they
on.
have been.
Did you do Charles Bonds when he did the clip when he was in the T-shirt? Did you do that one?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I didn't film it, but I edited it.
Yeah.
And,
okay. Go for it.
I'm gonna tell you something. He's been a faithful day
Good brother,
one
man.
supporter.
Good brother.
I mean, from day one. His support would it's always been, it would never die. I think about people like Reginald Sharp,
Yes.
who I'm just still at awe, man. He pastored Clay Evans Church, it's just amazing. And I think about people like Robin Ware. She's one of the top church hospitality teachers of all time. There was a lady that used to work at a place called Stream of Faith who opened up opportunity for me for a brief season. Her name was Janice Anderson. I think about people like Dr. William E. Flippin, who was my last pastor there in Atlanta, his family. His son, Richard Flippin, when I was a member of Greater Piney Grove, we had a little identity crisis. They thought I was him because they said we looked alike. His entire family has been very supportive. And I'm thankful also to Pastor E. Dewey Smith Jr.
Absolutely.
For opening up an opportunity. My media mentors, Ron and Shayla Epps, Mr. Phil Boyd, and who's been the media ministry leader at Salem Bible Church, with Jackson Williams is the pastor emeritus, and so many others. My home church, Mount Sinai, been very supportive. My pastor, Dr. Joel Johnson, and to many preachers that have just allowed me just to edit, film them, interview them in the droves. I mean, recently, Christopher Stackhouse, Lewis Chapel Baptist Church in Fayetteville, North Carolina, who eulogized George Floyd in Rayford, Gregory Davis, and even those that just prayed and supported my dear friend Tori Jones and Tori Durham, who's been a great support system to me, and all the viewers and subscribers down through the years, and to all the preachers and stuff. Preachers, holler at me. I need some work.
Hey, y'all, if y'all can't find me, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm sending all additional requests to Brother Rollins, not because he need my little extra leftovers, but because I think that's what you do. When you just share the wealth, and God is going to give you more because you're willing to give other people opportunities, and the opportunities are coming. I'm a giver like that. I don't have time for that. I'm just here to help people build the kingdom of God in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So, Brother Rollins, thank you so much. Y'all make sure y'all follow Brother Rollins. This is your boy DK Hammonds, serving, leading, and connecting people to their destiny, the digital theologian with Brother Rollins. We'll see y'all later.